No, you're good. Yeah, you're golden Gucci.
That's what I
And
want to
I
make sure.
mean, we don't have to start and like I can cut everything out that we need to cut out. So
Okay,
I'm
that's good.
gonna.
I just wanted to make sure that there wasn't anything I needed to do. It's been a couple weeks.
Yep. Yeah, you're good. And I am going to take a fat rip real quick, and then we'll get started.
That works. And while you do that, I'll have all my notes.
Alrighty. Are we ready?
We are good.
Okay.
I'm not, but I'm good.
And 3, 2, 1. Hello and welcome to Psycho's Kitchen. I am Hayden,
I'm Hallie.
and welcome to this week's episode. You are going to see our first episode probably first. It's going to be on the Leprechaun, which will be coming out probably the day after we film this. Hallie, don't know if I told you that, but yeah.
No, that's a pleasant surprise. I know we've had some time to work on that one.
Yeah. Yeah. Things have come up, things have been managed, and things are awesome now. So this week we watched The Craft, a
Yes.
1996 and what is the genre officially of this? It's got a couple. It is a folk horror, supernatural fantasy, supernatural horror, teen drama, teen fantasy, teen horror. And you know what? I agree with every one of those.
Yeah, it does not have a specific. Yeah, it's definitely a little bit on the multi description phase. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, and it's got a lot of really well-known characters. Like, I mean, I guess they weren't really well-known back then, but I mean, they're really well-known now. Nev Campbell, Skeet Ulrich,
Oh, yeah. Robin Tooney,
Robin Tooney, Rachel
Perusa Balk.
True, yeah, Fairuza Balk. Yeah, it's got so many known actors. It's just uncanny. And I am literally driving myself insane. So the whole time I was watching this movie, I was literally driving myself insane. Um, because I couldn't remember what I have seen Robin Tooney in. And it was driving me like batshit crazy. And then I remembered that she's in the fucking Mentalist.
Yep, she's in that.
Yeah.
She's been in quite a few things.
Oh, so much. She's in House.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. I forgot about that episode. I'll have to go find that one now.
Yep. Let's see. Let's see what all she's in that I recognize anyway. The Craft. Hey, she's in The Craft. Did you know that?
No, I didn't know that. Thank you for letting me know. I'm betting that was the
um.
first one that came up, right?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
She's in Supernova. So far that's really The Making of Paparazzi. Oh, she's in Paparazzi. Okay, well, it would make sense that if she's in The Making of Paparazzi, that she is in the movie Paparazzi.
Yeah, that kind of would, yeah. Yeah, that would be a little weird not to be, just to
Oh
hang
no
it around
shit.
the set.
That's where I remember her from. She's in the Zodiac. That's what it is.
Oh, see, yeah. She's just been around for so long that, I know, you recognize her the second you see her.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah, she's
hmm
very recognized.
So, what are your first initial thoughts?
Well, considering I was the one who suggested it, you can
You
tell that
are.
I love this movie.
You,
I have watched
I
this
would
movie
imagine.
way too many times. Absolutely love it. I adore it. It is, I'd say it's in my, as far as like just general movies, it's probably in my top 5 that I've watched quite a few times, just from,
hmm
growing up and watching it, because I can kind of relate to that time period and their thought processes, it was that time period.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, it definitely resonates with me. So I just kind of had
hmm
a deeper connection to them.
So, here are my rigorous thoughts on this movie. And I'm going to be brutally honest with this because this is 90s horror. And I have a thing about 90s horror. It's got to be peak perfect. Okay.
Yeah.
So, I'm going to proudly state before I speak any farther that this is a fantastic movie and I absolutely loved it. You all should watch it, and I will be watching it again. Now, down to the nitty gritty. Okay. It was typical 90s, stereotypical 90s, I should say. There was a lot of phrases in this movie that was like, oh, yep, some boomer wrote that line. Uh, some of the stuff that they said. Now, the acting on point. Balk, or how do you pronounce her name? Feruza?
Arusa. Yeah.
Feruza? Yeah. Um, she is a very, very good actress. She scares me a lot in this movie.
She was so on point. I mean, they all
Yeah.
were,
Hmm.
but she's the girl that you're like, okay, I meet you in a dark alley. I'm gonna think twice about going down that dark alley.
Yeah. Um, I was thoroughly traumatized by her performance here. Bravo. It was pretty amazing. And yeah, I don't think it could have been any better. I would say it's a little over the top. Like her performance was a little over the top. However, not for the time period, okay?
No,
That
definitely
that
not.
was yeah, that was peak and just amazing. Although
She
I
did.
I I don't know how I feel about them doing my boy Skeet like that. They did my boy Skeet dirty. Although he was kind of a douche.
Well, he was. He was, but
Yeah.
I don't think they were all responsible.
Oh no,
No.
no. For sure no. Only one person was really responsible in that one.
Yeah, well, it's a teenage horror, so you got to do something.
Right, you know? It's great. Oh, oh no. Oh no. Oh no. So my Discord is going nuts because apparently Darth Vader, Shrek, and Yoda are now fighting each other in the Discord.
Is there a way to say a shot that so I can see it tomorrow? Because oh my god,
I mean, the chats will be there. I'll be able to show you the chats, so
my lord, I can only imagine.
we'll just mute those real quick. Okay. So, do we want to get I should probably give a little context for the listeners. I have a Discord channel that I'm in where there are bots of Yoda, Darth Vader, Deadpool, and who am I missing? Yoda, Darth Vader, Deadpool, and Shrek. Shrek.
I was gonna say Shrek,
Um
yeah.
yeah, and, you can, like, talk to them, and they're, like, AI respondent bots, so they'll talk back to you, and, we troll them very often in this Discord, like, I've had actual fights with Darth Vader, like, lightsaber fights with Darth Vader, uh, and, sometimes whenever someone trolls them too hard and gets them into, like, a like a robotics laws contradiction type situation. Sometimes they go batshit crazy and they actually start fighting each other, and it's quite funny. But anyway,
Digressing, but it's funny.
yeah,
Yes,
you know.
try it
So,
sometime. It's
you want to go
entertaining.
ahead and right, exactly. It's just entertaining. So you want to go ahead and get into the movie and talk about it scene by scene?
Yeah, let's go.
All right. So introducing Sarah Bailey, Robin Tooney, is a troubled teenage. I don't like that. She's pretty much the most sane and rational one of them all. But anyway,
She is.
um, she is a teenage girl who has previously attempted suicide. Oh, that's why they're calling her troubled. Well, I mean, meh. And has just moved from San Francisco to Los Angeles with her father, Cliff DeYoung, and stepmother. She enrolls in a local Catholic high school. Don't know why anyone would want to do that, but but has trouble fitting in during
Well,
French class. Huh?
I was gonna say Bailey might be a clue. She's probably Irish.
Oh, well, yeah, true. That is very true. Yeah. During French class, her classmate Bonnie, Nev Campbell, the Scream Queen of Scream. I say she's the Scream Queen of Scream because if I call her the Scream Queen, um,
You will anger quite
uh,
a few people.
yeah, I will anger so many people,
Yes, can't do
and
that.
yeah, don't want to do that. Don't want the Jamie Lee Curtis fanboys will come after me.
The original Scream
Yeah,
Queen.
the original Scream Queen. But that's just the times that you're born. But I still do consider Jamie Lee
She put
Curtis as the Scream Queen.
Yeah, she put the Scream Girl on the maps. She's the
Oh, she
OG.
for sure did. Yeah, she for sure did. So Nev Campbell, Bonnie, I guess I should call her by her character's name, Bonnie, witnesses Sarah telekinetically using a pencil to rotate while standing on its tip. And at first I thought it was like you could hear it rotating and it was like the sound of it like grinding. And at
Yeah.
first I thought it was gonna like go through the desk,
Oh,
and
gotcha.
I was a
Okay.
little upsetty
You were upsetty?
spaghetti. I was upsetty. Yeah, I was very upsetty spaghetti. But that was still a very good effect. It was peak. It was pretty good effect, especially for the 90s.
And I have a little info on that.
Oh, by all means.
Yes, that was actually a practical effect.
Really?
Yes, that was a practical effect. Let me see if I can figure out where I put that at. But it was like a rod or something that went into the pencil so that somebody was actually under the desk the whole time and twisting that rod for the
Huh.
pencil touch to move and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. So I don't know if you noticed something in the movie, and maybe it was because I don't watch things legitly. I fuck capitalism. Um but I don't know if it was just my version or if that's actually how it is, but there's a point where Robin like looks away from a mirror, or maybe it wasn't Robin, maybe it was one of the other girls, but one of them looks away from a mirror
Yes.
and
Yeah.
their face
That was Rochelle.
moves. Huh?
That was Rochelle.
Rochelle.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so like she moves her face and then the reflection moves. Was that intentional? Do we know?
I do not know on that one. I don't know how they did that one, and I would love to know
Okay, but
because
it's not just mine.
no, that was actually intentionally, I'm thinking, put in there,
Okay, because
for
I
like the
rewound it
duality
like
stuff.
4 or 5 times to see if it was just like a sync issue with my phone, and yeah, so that was pretty cool. That was pretty cool. But anyway, um, so during lunch, Sarah goes to this local Catholic school. She's telekinetically causing pencils to rotate while they're standing on their tips, and she goes to lunch, and Sarah is hit on by Chris, my boy Skeet, uh, played by Skeet Ulrich, la, 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 Ulrich, of course, and he's the school football star. She asks about Bonnie and her two friends, Nancy and Rochelle, who are played by Firuza Balk and Rochelle True, or is that Rachel True?
No,
Rochelle
Rachel.
True, Rachel True. Okay. So Chris tells Sarah to stay away from the trio because they're witches. Bonnie tells Nancy and Rochelle that Sarah is the fourth who will complete their circle and make a full coven. The three girls each have issues. Nancy lives in a trailer with her mom. I love how it words it like that. Because I live at home in a trailer.
Yeah, her mother. Oh boy,
Yeah. Who's
that's
played by
yeah.
her name's Grace Downs, played by Helen Shaver. Anyway, what were you gonna say? Sorry.
I was gonna say, yeah, that's the psychological reason as to why she is the way she is.
I mean, fair point. That's a very fair point. Yep. And her abusive stepfather, Ray, who is played by John Campelos. Bonnie has massive burn scars all over her back, and the painful treatment recommended by the surgeon, Brenda Strong, is likely to fail. Insecure African American athlete, Rochelle, is subjected to racist taunts by the most popular girl in school, blonde Laura Lizzie, played by Christine Taylor. All right, so we got anything to unpack here?
Shoot, we have a lot to unpack here.
Okay,
All right, where should we start?
go for it.
Okay, so I guess are you wanting me to just go through thoughts or
Yeah, what are your thoughts so far?
my thoughts? Well, you immediately when you're watching this, you're gonna immediately feel some sort of connection to one of those girls. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's gonna draw you in. I think it's interesting that Chris refers to them as the bitches of Eastwick, giving this nice little tie into the old witches of Eastwick. I love that.
Mhm.
Um,
Yep.
I think they skip over. Oh, maybe we haven't got to that point yet. But the part
What?
about Nancy telling Miss Sarah about the whole, stay away from him plot line.
It looks like the next paragraph is about Sarah.
Okay, all right. At that point, at this point, you're just thinking, okay, Sarah is this poor girl who's moved from San Francisco. She gets to this to LA. Essentially, it's filmed in Hollywood there from part of it. Her house was on a soundstage, I believe. But here you move to this strange town with your dad, your stepmom. You don't know anybody. The first guy that you meet in this city after you get to this house is a vagrant carrying a snake who just confronts you in the house, right? And this sets up the whole premise of her being frightened anyway, because snakes are her thing. They scare her.
Yeah.
And here comes dad who have to kill it to save the day.
Mhm.
And then you're pushed into this whole thing of, okay, next thing, it's the first day school, you're the new girl in town, which I'm sure people can
Right.
relate to, and you're
Oh
a
yeah, for
teenager,
sure. Mhm. Exactly.
and yeah,
And you've
you don't
got
know
that,
anybody.
yeah, you've got that teen angst thing going.
Yeah, the teen angst
Mhm.
thing going, and you're just trying to find footing,
Yeah. And by
and
the
now you
way,
gotta
it
worry.
it it did skip over that part with the vagrant.
Yeah, it did. I know. I was like, wait, we're
Um,
missing something here, and that's yeah. I was
yeah,
like, yeah, it's the vagrant guy
because
because he does come in to play later, as does a
yeah,
picture that she puts down in
because
her
we're
bedroom.
we're at that. That's what the next paragraph is talking about.
Yeah,
Is her second meet with the vagrant.
yeah. I'm surprised I didn't talk about that the first one because he does play, comes back in such an important story point way.
Mhm.
Um, and then you're just kind of following her through this day where she meets, she's in that class where she basically is called what is a snail trail or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
by oh my gosh, I know his name, but I can't think of it. Breckenmeyer. He's in all those movies back in the day.
Mhm. Yep.
Always playing that kind of character.
Yep.
And then she meets this guy, the head of the football team, and he's cute, but she's a little hesitant. And
Mhm.
that's about where it leads up to, isn't it? At this point?
Oh yeah, that's yeah. After school, the three girls befriend Sarah. They go where she's watching Skeet practice football. And they take her to an occult shop. The owner, Lirio, Lirio,
Lirio. Lirio.
Lirio, played by Assumpta Serna. Wow, I'm very sorry for butchering your name. I know I just butchered that. Uh, comments that Sarah is not like the other girls and says to her, "Maybe you are a natural witch. Your powers come from within." While leaving the shop, Sarah is harassed by the vagrant again, played by Arthur Sinzi, uh, and all four girls simultaneously will for something to happen, and the vagrant is then hit by a car. Uh, so that's kind of a underselling of the scene. So what happens is she gets left behind by the girls because the girls told her to keep up, and she decided she wasn't going to listen to the girls because she's stupid, and she started getting harassed by someone asking for money or something. I can't remember what they were asking for, and
Yeah, it
so
was
she gets. It was like
you
what?
there?
Yeah,
Oh, she was a homeless lady who wanted money for her baby.
yeah, money for her baby, and she just had to stop and say, "Oh no, I don't have any. I'm sorry, blah 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 blah." So then she gets cornered by the vagrant, who then chases her across the street, and then the vagrant's coming up to her, going, you're gonna die," as he's walking into the fucking street, and a car hits him, as you know that's what happens when you walk into the middle of the street, and
Yeah, especially
the
in LA.
girls. Right. And the girls all get together and they're like, "Oh, we willed that to happen. I thought that he was going to get hit by a car. Did you think that he was going to get hit by a car? Yeah. Did you think it? Yeah. Did you think it? We made it happen. No, that was LA." But yeah, so they have now realized that they can invoke the spirit of Manon, which is their ultimate goal as a coven. Cool
Okay.
beans. So now
So,
they can summon a demon god.
which is ironic. Now, I can backtrack a little bit here because when it comes to that, it's really interesting. The name that they use is Mano. There is
Mhm.
no even mythological god that's specifically like that. The closest is Mananan, I think it is, or something like that, and it's a Celtic sea god,
Mhm.
which is
Yeah,
interesting
so
because what it's later on.
I just Google AI'd it, and it says Manon is a fictional, all-powerful deity from the 1996 cult film The Craft. So yeah, there is. It's. I don't think this Manon is often confused with Manat, an ancient goddess, Mano, a Sami nature deity, or Mammon, a demon of greed.
Yeah, there's
Yeah,
now the reason it's not anything is because they didn't want to do anything that was misconstrued as real,
right.
because they didn't, because the writer and the did not, in the I think it was the director, did not want to, he didn't want to offend anybody who was, a pagan or Wiccan in those
Well, that
general
was
areas.
nice of him.
Which they actually had somebody on set, Pat Devon, I think was the name, who was an actual advisor who worked with the girls and with the script to come up with actual rituals that would be based on those ideas,
Oh, that's
which is
cool.
why they feel so real later on, which is where the
Hmm.
earth, fire,
Yeah.
I'm
Well,
trying to think how they
that's
put it.
cool.
Yeah.
Water, earth, fire, air. Long
Earth,
ago, the four
fire,
nations
water,
lived together in
air, fire,
harmony.
water. You can tell how many times I've watched that. Just sitting here going, earth, air, fire, water.
So
Um,
Sarah leaves the girls to meet Chris, but she refuses to have sex with him. Oh my God, like so tragic. The woman you just met refused to have sex with you. However, at school the next day, Sarah discovers that Chris boasted to the whole school that they slept together and that she was the worst he's ever had. Because you so evilly rejected him at his advances when you just met him. Like, how dare you? I hate
yeah.
men.
Huh?
I hate men.
Yeah. Well, of this era especially,
Yeah.
because, they got to play up the football team guy as,
Oh yeah.
yeah,
Mhm.
essentially the asshole in sheep's clothing.
Yeah. So Nancy, Bonnie, and Rochelle comfort Sarah and invite her on a field trip. They take the bus out to the country, and the
Mm.
bus. The synopsis made a mistake. They called it the bust driver. Bust.
Ah.
The bus driver tells them to be careful about the wicked boys. But then Nancy looks back and says, "But we are the dangerous ones," and then gives him a creepy smile, which
That is
prompts him to quickly shut the door and drive away like any sane, rational person would.
okay. But they made a mistake there, probably for copyright reasons.
What?
Most iconic thing is her dropping her sunglasses going, "We are the weirdos, mister."
Oh, yeah. We are the weirdos, mister. Yeah, because he says, watch out for the weirdos out there.
Yeah.
And she
Yeah.
goes, "But we are the weirdos, mister." Yep. So while on the countryside, they call the corners and cast some spells. Rochelle asks for the strength not to hate those who hate her. Sarah performs a love spell on Chris. Bonnie asks for beauty inside and out. And Nancy asks for all the powers of Manon. Shortly after the spells are cast, they show signs of working. Chris becomes infatuated with Sarah and goes after her constantly, in spite of his friends Mitt Breckenmeyer and Trey Nathaniel Marston taunting him about it. Bonnie's scars miraculously heal, and the next time Laura bullies Rochelle, Laura's hair begins to fall out. And I would just like to say that she absolutely deserved that. Uh,
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
yeah. Um, Rochelle should not feel bad about that at all. Not even slightly. She 100% deserved that. And probably more. Um, but anyway,
Probably. Yeah.
yeah, I digress. So Laura's hair begins to fall out, and at home, Nancy causes. So Nancy goes home, and she is like all pissy because everybody's spells are coming true, but hers is not. She essentially no longer wants to be white trash.
To which Rochelle is like, "Well, honey, I'm sorry. You're
Yeah,
right. Just deal with it."
exactly. Yeah. So Nancy causes the microwave and all the bulbs in the house to explode because she's obviously mad about this. And then Ray suffers a massive heart attack and he dies. Then Nancy and her mother are told by the insurance man that they have inherited $175,000 from an insurance policy, and they feel overjoyed about it. And they got an apartment.
Think
Why?
of, well, because it was probably the nicest place they could have had. You still got to think
Yeah.
about, the fact that they don't have any money otherwise, right? And if you don't, it wasn't
One.
even furnished. Did you
True.
notice?
Yeah.
It was a jukebox, a couch, and whatever was going on in her room. And it was probably a status thing. They're out of the hole. They're going to go for the place that's going to give you the best view. And a house in LA is not going to get you that. Okay, for that price.
True. Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's see what
Even
175K is worth today. So in 1996, $175,000 would be the equivalent to $368,000 right now. So that'd be like getting $368,000.
yeah. And having nothing before that.
Right. Yeah.
Which I'm still trying to. She must have been there. The only thing I can figure, if you look at the conditions where they lived before that,
Mm-hmm.
and most Catholic schools are going to be private schools,
Right.
was Nancy there because she was actually on some sort of scholarship?
Oh yeah. True.
Because by no means was she stupid.
Right. Yeah.
It's just how she used her intelligence.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah, they get $175,000 from the insurance policy, and they feel overjoyed about it. Nancy and her mother move into a posh high rise, where the girls meet one night and learn disguise changing magic. Nancy's mother looks confused and dazzled. Nancy's mother looks confused and dazzled. She has bought a weird colored sofa and a jukebox with only songs by Connie Francis, because her dream was to have a jukebox that played nothing but Connie Francis.
Yeah. Now that's
Um,
why I said there's probably a good 50 grand right there.
right. Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
But I think everybody wanted one of those back in the day.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. Yeah.
And that
So
wasn't as a couch.
that was, yeah, that was.
It
I
was
was,
ugly.
eh,
Yeah.
couch choices. So the four friends lock themselves in Nancy's room, ignoring Nancy's mother, who is left empty and ignored, just as she
Well,
felt before cashing in on the insurance money. Wow.
well, that was why we're supporting mom there. Mom's a drunk.
Damn. The synopsis is going hard here.
Yeah, I mean, come on. The mom was a drunk, man.
So the girls go to Lario's shop again, where Nancy finds a book about invoking the spirit. Later that night, the girls go to the beach and form a circle, calling on Manon. Uh, at the culmination of the spell, Nancy is struck by lightning. The next day, the rest of the girls witness Nancy walking on water, and from this point on, Nancy's powers have increased. So later on, Rochelle sees a balding Laura in the locker room, hysterically sobbing after swim practice. She's like, "It just won't stop falling out." And at this point, she's like bald from the like dome of her head. Like the only thing she has left is side hair.
Not just even just losing her hair. She's got you could sores on her head.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Open sores.
Yep. She's definitely not having it very well.
No.
Nope. So Laura's two closest friends try to offer some consolation, to no avail. Rochelle feels remorse for the spell she has cast, and when she looks in the mirror at herself, her reflection looks away. Oh, okay. I get it
Yeah.
now.
Yeah, see?
Okay, that makes sense.
It's her inner self turning away
Mm-hmm.
from
That
the
makes
self,
sense now.
yeah, from the self-reflection.
Yep. So Sarah's love spell also backfires on her. She finally accepts to have a dinner date with Chris, but he takes her to the top of a hill and attempts to rape her. Sarah runs away and knocks on Nancy's door. Nancy
Nancy.
leaves her home. Huh?
They said
Wait.
Nancy? It's Rochelle.
Oh, yeah.
They mess up?
They did?
Yeah, it's Rochelle.
Yeah. Sarah runs away and knocks on Rochelle's door, and then Nancy leaves her home for a party Chris is attending in order to punish him, right?
All the girls ended up there, and she says, she's walking around muttering, "He's got to pay. He's got to pay. He's got to pay." So
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah.
just
So
leave it
then,
alone.
yeah,
Yeah.
wow, that's a flop.
That's what I was thinking too. I'm like, wait, because they're skipping over a lot of stuff,
Yeah,
but we can go back and go on it because I got
it's
the
okay.
stuff.
You've got the stuffs. So Nancy leaves her home for the party that Chris is attending, in order to punish him. However, when she arrives to the party, she tries to seduce Chris by disguising herself as Sarah. But when the real Sarah arrives as they engage in foreplay, Nancy causes Chris to fall out of a third story window and splat. Okay, my boy Skeet may have deserved it, but I mean, he was under a spell. So,
But you got to take in this backstory.
I mean,
Think
fair,
about,
fair.
yeah,
He was
because
a douche. He was
he
a
was
very
a
big
douche.
douche.
You remember
Yeah.
he did engage
Well,
in some activities with Nancy. Nancy tried to
yeah.
warn her. He lied about it. Yeah,
Mhm.
he,
Well, you know what lesson you can take from this, right?
don't be a douche.
Don't fuck with witches.
I mean, you can't
Mm.
call them the bitches of Eastwick and then think you're going to survive, you know?
Right, right. Yeah. So yeah, he's dead now, splat. Um, on consequence of this, Sarah starts having nightmares concerning her old friends and feels like they're following her everywhere to torment her. Uh, man,
Well,
this
kind of
guy's,
were.
huh?
They kind of were. They were following her everywhere,
I mean,
stalking
yeah,
her.
fair. Like they were tormenting her, doing all kinds of shit. Um, so Sarah tries to stop Nancy, who has become the leader of the three remaining coven witches, by binding her powers so that she won't be able to hurt others or herself. Um, but this just pisses them off, I guess, because it doesn't work, and the three other coven girls now hate her. And Nancy appears and tells Sarah that in the old days, if a witch betrayed her coven, they would just kill her. So obviously, Sarah's like, "Oh shit, I need help," and she goes to Lirio, who tells her to invoke the spirit herself. And we finally get to see the back room that has been kept a secret this whole time. And I gotta admit, it was pretty awesome. I liked
You
it.
know, you know what that was about though? I read a little
Huh.
bit more behind it. The it's supposed to be that she came across some ruins of what was once a church or something.
Mm-hmm.
And she bought the place because of that, and she took over that think sacred space because it was such a good sacred space. If you notice, if you notice the Virgin Mary that was on the wall, that was in tile
Yeah.
at one
Mm-hmm.
point. Yeah, it was actually filmed in a market, a Spanish market, a Mexican market, or something. Um,
Oh,
that had been used for that.
okay. I did not
Yeah.
know that.
Mhm. So that makes me also think, because the lady who's playing her, she's from Spain. So I'm just wondering if they were referencing some sort of like, is it Santeria or something?
Huh.
I've often wondered that, or if they were just trying to play on everything, all the different types of paganism. And
I mean, most likely, I would
I mean,
say that they were trying to, well, at the same time, trying to make it close, but also not trying to offend anybody who's pagan,
right. So it's kind of like
you
they
know?
touched on this, they touched on that.
Yeah. But Lirio also reveals that Sarah's mother was a powerful witch, and that her talent has passed on to Sarah. So Sarah starts to invoke Manon, but she has a vision of fire and the shop exploding. So she leaves the shop absolutely terrified. And Sarah returns home. When she gets home, she is tormented by Nancy, Bonnie, and Rochelle, who taunt her using magic and intimidate her with threats on her life. Sarah arrives home and nobody is there. She is instructed to turn on the TV set and listens that her family went back to San Francisco, thinking that she had run away there and that their plane had had an accident without any survivors. Without a second of rest, all kinds of snakes and worms appear everywhere. We have rats, we have all kinds of creepy crawlies, and they were really playing into people's phobias with this scene.
And you want to know something?
Huh.
Every single snake, every single spider, every single rat, all of that was 100% real animal,
Oh, I would have went nuts.
except for the one part that's coming up with that, of course, had to be some sort of,
Right.
yeah. But the rest of
Yeah.
the animals were all real
Yeah. That is absolutely terrifying.
for me and you both.
Right. So the three other coven girls then appear, After a few seconds of intimidation, Nancy says that Sarah will commit suicide. And she's like, "Nuh-uh, no, I won't. You can't make me." So
All right,
Nancy comes
Nancy,
over.
put it away.
So Nancy comes over and slashes Sarah's wrists, and uh, a letter with Sarah's handwriting stating the reasons of her suicide magically appears, where she blames herself for Chris's death, and she just says, "I killed Chris. I'm sorry. Love, Sarah." And she says, "I didn't write that." And they said, "Well, it's still your handwriting anyway." So Sarah runs to her room while Nancy, Bonnie, and Rochelle wait for her to die. Rochelle then tells Nancy that this has gone out of hand. Nancy tells her to go upstairs to check on Sarah and threatens to slit her throat if she doesn't. And I just want to point out Nancy's a bitch.
Yeah, she is 100%.
Nancy is a bitch. And I gotta say, when a actor makes me hate the character, and they're supposed to make me hate the character, mwah, good job,
Oh yeah,
good job,
yes,
because
definitely.
Nancy is a bitch. Um, so she's gonna slit her throat if she doesn't. So Bonnie pulls up Rochelle to Sarah's room.
Oh yeah, they both she says, "Come on, Rosh." Basically, "Come on, let's go," and then they both go up the stairs to go find her.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. But the synopsis says
It's horrible.
Bonnie pulls up Rochelle to Sarah's room.
What's going through my mind is, oh my gosh, did they even proofread it?
Right.
I'm
So
certain.
Bonnie and Rochelle go up to Sarah's room. Sarah is almost too weak to invoke Manon, but then she hears her mother moving in an old photograph, and her sweet voice whispering, "Don't be afraid. Reach inside of yourself." So Sarah successfully invokes Manon and is able to cast spells to fight back, as well as heal the injuries to her wrists, forced by a counterspell of Sarah's to see themselves and what they've become by catching their reflections in a mirror.
By the power
Bonnie's,
of three times three, make them
yep,
see, make them see.
mm-hmm. By the power of 3 times 3, make them see. So Bonnie's face is horribly scarred, and Rochelle's hair is falling out. And they obviously don't like this, so they get the fuck out of Dodge. Um, and they basically leave only Nancy and Sarah at home. So here
Dun, dun,
comes the
dun.
final showdown. So
Battle Royale.
yeah, the effects were really good here. So, she comes out of a mirror, Sarah comes out of a mirror, and they basically fight. They're like, I don't know how to describe it. So they're fighting with the wind, basically. And then Sarah tries to say, "I bind you." She tries to do the binding spell again, and then Nancy goes batshit freaking insane and like tries to stab her, and they like whip into a wall, and now they're sideways on this wall, and Nancy is just barreling her claws into Sarah and beating her, and then a drawer, like a chest of
Dresser.
drawers,
Yeah.
yeah, comes flying at them. Nancy gets out of the way, and it looks like Sarah gets got here. But Nancy goes over and starts picking up out of the rubble and sees like just Sarah's outfit flat on the ground, and she's like, tricky, 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 tricky. And then she pulls up the knife and is about to stab the clothes, and then all of a sudden, Sarah appears in the clothes and like morphs out of the wall and then just kicks her and she goes flying into the wall. And after that, Sarah finishes her spell. And it's over. Well, the fight scene's over. The movie's not over yet.
No.
Yeah. So in the end, Nancy has been sent to a psychiatric hospital, and Bonnie and Rochelle lose any powers they had. They go to see Sarah and half mockingly tell her not to be angry with them because when Sarah was made to believe that her family had died, it was just an illusion. Sarah's father is packing everything in his car to move out of LA. The two girls ask Sarah if she still has any powers, and when she shows no interest in continuing a friendship with the two girls who tried to kill her, they make fun of her saying as they leave, or they make fun of her as they leave, saying she probably doesn't have powers anyway. On hearing this, Sarah makes a bolt of lightning strike, causing a tree branch to fall, nearly crushing the two girls, revealing that she does indeed still have some damn powers. And as they stare back at her in shock, Sarah warns them, "Be careful. You don't want to end up like Nancy," and smiles as we cut to a bird's eye view of Nancy's room in the psychiatric hospital. She is screaming like a maniac, telling the nurse, "He gave me powers. I can fly. I'm flying. I'm flying. I'm flying." And the nurse is like, "Oh, sweetie, he gave you something, all right, but it wasn't powers."
Oh my god.
And that's the movie.
Yes,
So having seen the
that
movie,
is.
having talked about the movie,
Mhm.
what'd you think?
Well, it's a nostalgic love of mine, as you know.
For sure. Mhm.
For me, I think that ties into a time period in my life where I felt like I connected to Sarah a lot.
Yeah.
So it kind of pulled me in that way. But then I also love anything that's got to do. Okay, you're all going to hear about this now. I'm interested in any kind of spooky story, any kind of witchy story that I can get my hands on. I've been since I was a kid, so this just was right up my alley the whole way. And the fact that it was respectful enough to not make fun of the religions themselves, still keeping that feel to it, is a good thing in my
For
opinion.
sure.
And
Yeah.
it made me just the technical stuff behind it made me like it that much more. um
Yeah.
yeah, for
Absolutely.
sure. Yeah, and the acting was on par with some of the best I've ever seen, honestly. It may have been
Oh,
a
yeah.
hokey script to a certain extent on some things, but it does have a feel from the time period as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I enjoyed this movie quite a lot. Like you said, the acting was on point. Peak 90s, very cheesy peak 90s, but again, that was just the 90s. Um, and it was overall just a good movie.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
definitely.
definitely enjoyed it. So, do you have
Mhm.
any facts that you would like to give us?
I do have a few that I looked up. Okay?
Sweet.
I'm not going to say these are in any particular order because they're just there. Okay.
Mhm.
For one, the hair that Robin Tooney had the entire time was a wig.
Really?
Yes, she had shaved her head for a movie just before that. I think it was Empire State or something like that.
Huh.
Empire something, Empire Records, maybe. I can't remember. But she had shaved her head, and of course they needed to do something, so they gave her a wig, and that was a nice wig. Although when you look back at it, some of the wigs that we'd see now wouldn't look like that. But I remember
Yeah.
thinking, I love her hair the whole
Yeah, I
time.
mean, it definitely looked good.
That well, Hollywood, there you go. Because I mean, it did behave like
Right.
real hair.
Yeah.
Also, when they were doing the set was supposedly played with a whole bunch of weird stuff that happened. When they were doing the beach scene,
Mhm.
they had trouble with bats flying over. The tide kept washing away the candles,
Huh.
and they lost power when Nancy says, "Minot, fill me." So they had a lot of issues with things like Rachel True, I think, said something about. I think it was her that had they had a white owl that kept showing up whenever they would do rituals and stuff.
Damn.
Yeah, it was weird. Let's see. Oh, and a year later, the TV show Charm came out. Correct.
Correct.
If you
Yeah.
pay attention to the part where Sarah is watching Chris on the football
Mhm.
field and you listen to the music, that was the original theme song that was then, later used for Charmed.
Oh. Oh, damn. I did not know that. That's cool.
Yeah. And at one point, apparently there was a whole list of actresses that were up for this. It took like 9 months or something to actually cast it.
Mhm.
And some of the people that were in there looking for roles were like Angelina Jolie, Scarlett Johansson, and of all people, Miss Piper herself, Holly Marie Combs, was offered a role at one point before, and she was couldn't do it, and went on to make Charmed, where she still played a witch.
Well, hey, it worked out for everybody in the end.
It did. It definitely did.
Yep.
And Rochelle was not was her original storyline was she was going to be a bulimic white girl. Yeah, which would have been absolutely the dumbest thing ever. The other
Right.
storyline was so much better.
Mhm. Mhm. Definitely. All right. So let's talk some box office. Have you read anything about the box office?
I did not. I kind of left that part to you. I figured I was trivia girl.
Mhm. So the estimated budget of this movie was $15 million.
Jeez, I wonder what that would have been today.
Let's see. 1996 to today. So that'd be about $32.5 million today.
That'd still be a small budget.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Opening weekend for US and Canada, it kind of bombed. It made about 6.7 million. So it didn't make its budget back. However, it went on to gross 24.8 million worldwide. So it made its money back plus some, but I
Not
don't
the hit.
think, yeah, it wasn't the hit that we feel it is.
Yeah, I think it's one of those things that once you see, it's kind of like a cult, one of those cult classics, as they always call it. It's one of those that was a sleeper hit, and then it became this
Mhm.
cult classic. Everybody went nuts over.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
It's definitely in my movie repertoire over here. I can
Well,
tell you what
I'll
it.
go ahead.
I can tell you what it was called in Germany,
What was it called in Germany?
and I'm going to butcher this, so I'm probably going to have you say this, but Der Hexenclub, the Witches Club.
Oh, the Hexenkloop?
Yeah,
Mm. Yep, yep. Oh, that's cool. That's cool. That's really cool. Hmm. So overall, good movie. You remember the scary scale?
no, it's been a minute, so give me the scoop.
So, scary scale 1 to 10 based on how scary you thought the film was. This is not a rating of the film itself, just a rating of how scared you were during the watching of the film. 1 is like Gremlins, and a 10 is like fucking The Exorcist.
Yeah, okay. Well,
Mhm.
let's see. Because it's a little harder for me to judge this considering I've seen it several times now. I'm gonna say it's like a maybe back in the day it would have been like a 3 or 4.
I was gonna say 3. I'm gonna give it a
Yeah,
3. Yeah.
I would say only because when I did watch it the first time, I hadn't seen a lot of those kind of movies, but it also wasn't scary enough for me to go, oh, that's gonna totally damage my psyche for the rest of my life.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Alrighty, guys. Well, I think that's going to be it for us. And next week, we are going to watch The Covenant.
Yes.
So make sure you watch The Covenant and have a wonderful, fantabulous day.